Blow it out your ass, gamers. This is Big Thick Dimension, the only gaming podcast for the modern gigabrain gamer. I'm your host.
Can't think of a name!
10 days gone.
Hey, I'm Dan, and this is Big Thick Dimension. Hey, Casey. How's it going?
Thank you to our podlords.
And we also have with us Mr. Field from Mr. Field's Wild Ride.
You just killed him.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Dan.
From GigaBoots. How's it going, Bob? From GigaBoots.
Everything seems fine. No failed intros.
Oh,
Nothing bad happened.
Everything seems fine. We just keep in mind we record this on Thursday. We release it on Monday.
What podcast is this?
So we just have Mario Maker 2 coming out in a few hours.
When's the spoiler cast?
We've got
There's
the
a story mode.
The Final Fantasy VII stream probably still going on when this goes live.
Beautiful.
Oh, God.
You're just gonna schedule this shit.
No.
Someone's gonna go, all right, BRB. I gotta go listen to Big Thick Dimension.
If you left our living bodies in that live show to listen to our pre-recorded selves, how dare you not show support?
This'll still be here. We might not.
Exactly.
We might be dying in the other tab you have muted.
You jerk.
That's why we're all going to be on that stream, because it might be the final appearance of us all together.
Because literally half of us will get Thanos snapped by the stream.
We'll Thanos snap the Patreon, which is the equivalent of just making it 18 plus.
At some point, somebody will go, "Hey, Spaceman, when's the next episode of Big Thick Dimension coming out?" He's gonna go, "What?" Just because I was there when everyone died. Spaceman, Xeon and Aggro. That is a fucking combination.
And Eric, it's still got to be 4.
Well, I mean, we need a format for Eric to give his review of idle games that are made ironically. Twitter isn't a big enough platform for that.
Half
so
the time you say idle games, I assume you mean like Idolmaster or Love Live, and not actually.
I never understand.
And every time I realize that's not what it means, I feel ashamed.
Yeah, okay, that's good. That was the only part I would.
Don't feel
Could
too
you
bad.
please just say, like, clicker games?
I almost corrected you for saying Love Live instead of Love Live. That's the extra level.
Oh my God. Blow it out your ass, weebs.
Sorry, I was taking my pills.
Do you think they have idle games with idols in them? Is there an idle game?
There's one called 20 Billion Wives.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Does that
That's
count?
Right. Is it wives or waifus?
It's
can't
just
remember.
wives.
I can't remember.
No, it's not the upscaler.
It's Cookie Clicker, but with wives.
No, KZ, as we brought up last week, according to that tech channel, it's called waifu? Waifu upscaler?
Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
I know, it's confusing.
My mutant was showing.
So we gotta talk about what we played so that way we can get to this week's juicy news. There are like 2 or 3 stories I care about immensely.
Ooh.
Bob, what have you been playing?
The only thing other than Bloodstained has been Samurai Shodown.
Oh, okay.
Which
I've also played Samurai Shodown. Samurai Shodown is good.
Yeah, it seems real good. I'm liking it. It's impressive how much better the visuals are than King of Fighters, but it has like a third of the characters or less, so I guess that helps.
That absolutely helps. Also, they hired a new art director for it, so I'm sure that helped.
Yeah, in the credits I saw the art director is also the director of the game. So I was like, okay, that probably factored in here. But yeah,
those trailers were really good. Showed a really good sense of style.
Game is so good. I haven't played as much as I wanted. I played like 40 matches online.
Yeah, I did like 2 matches online and went through 2 story modes. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. And going through some of the tutorial stuff, you can kind of see like the systems are all built on like parrying and stuff like that, where if you do a down to forward and then hit light and heavy attack, or one of those combinations, they'll actually do this attack that can knock the sword out of the opponent's hand. And I was like, whoa, that's ridiculously tough to do, because you have to time it with a perfect guard, basically.
It's on the shoulder.
Yeah, they are. And there's a lot of mechanics behind Perf Guard?
There's a lot of defensive mechanics because there isn't any offensive mechanics, really.
I mean, you get your super bar, but that's like it.
It's not even a super bar. It's weird. It's like called a rage bar, and it fills when you take damage, and when it maxes out, your attacks do like 150% damage for a little bit, and then it goes back down. Or at any time you can pop it and get like a big damage power up as it runs down. And when that's gone, your rage meter is gone for the match.
Yeah, I hadn't messed with that angle. I saw some enemies do that to me, but I didn't even.
You can also use a super during it if you tap the same thing to activate it again. You do like a cinematic thing where you wish past them, and if it hits, it does a bunch of damage based on how much rage you have. You also just have a once per match super that you can just throw out anytime.
Yeah, I was like, there are two different supers. It seems like there's the one that will knock the weapon out of the enemy hand.
There's the one tied to the rage meter, and then you just have a once per match one that does everything in this game does 1 billion damage.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Sam Show.
I saw a clip of someone taking the other person out in 2 attacks.
Yes.
Yep.
2 supers. He did back to back.
Yeah, just because it's hard.
Or you can just pick Darly Dagger and put her weapon down, which none of the tutorials tell you how to do that.
Yeah,
but you can.
I don't know.
You can. It's useless except for her, which is I imagine why they do it. Because if you don't have your weapon, your attacks do shit damage and you can't block. Except for her, she has one special move that does like 40%. 60% and 80% of the health if it hits, which is just if you've seen video of it, her like jumping forward, swinging her arm, and then she does a lariat. And if the heavy version breaks guard and does 80%.
Wow.
I watched a video of all the supers in the game, and boy, are they all really good.
I know growing up, I had this probably a misconception, but I had the idea that if you finished the round by killing the enemy, it would lead toward the bad ending. I doubt that's actually the case, though. It's now playing this one, I'm like, no, this is probably just more of a visual flair, and there's no penalty for it.
Yeah, you can turn it off even.
Murder is good.
You can go in the options and turn blood and dismemberment off. I think they might ask you. They might ask you when you boot it the first time.
They do. They do ask you that, which is the same for the arcade versions because I played a lot of those back in the day. Where you would just turn it to the English version.
Yeah, I was going to say
censors everything.
It's region based for the arcade. Yeah.
Yeah.
It like pushes a completely different part of my brain than other fighting games because you don't have to think about inputs at all.
How do you mean?
There's no combos.
It's just what, footsies?
So you still need to remember your special moves, but
there's special moves, but they're like quarter circle forward and a button. Quarter circle back and a button, and all the button combinations are on the shoulders.
Yeah, it has like a dodge button on there and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think like, how am I going to hit them more so? Because that's the bigger thing. Because if you get blocked, you're gonna eat shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, this character I'm playing Darly Dagger. It's like, okay, her heavy if I'm running hits low, so you throw that out sometimes, and then that does 25%. Because everything does at least 25% in this game.
I mean, there's the kick attack and the light attacks really don't do that much.
They don't do that much.
Yeah, your heavy attack button is ridiculous.
And your mediums do a lot too.
Yeah, but the wind up on your heavy is usually pretty long, isn't it?
Yeah.
Typically, yeah.
Darly Daggers is really good because she has the big boat saw. And if you're close, she rips it back after it hits and it does like 50%.
Yeah, it seems like most of them have something like that. If you do the up close heavy, it will just destroy the health bar. Because
the whole game is guesses and reads.
Yeah, they.
How long is the default clock, Bob? Isn't it like 30 seconds?
It's not a problem though.
Yeah, because you finish in 15.
See, it's because of the nature of Sam's show that when the news of the input latency came out and then the news of the fix, the drastic reduction in it came out, I'm like, wait a second. And the fact like Sam's show always felt weird to me playing it back in the day. I think that's just Like all of these different factors you're talking about and the input latency is just a part of the feel of Sam Show, where it's just supposed to be raw reading your opponent. You know, there's supposed to be that much build up into anything and everything's that deadly. Admittedly, it's no Bushido Blade. Bushido Blade is like,
you're saying it's like Dark Souls?
No.
I didn't notice like a huge, like it feeling weird or anything. Like it felt like it should feel heavier, but it didn't. The game feels real good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is, now that patch is out, this feels like the crispest Samurai Showdown I've ever played, honestly. Like, I've played all the numbered ones.
Yeah, we've played Sam Show. I just because of this and because of this theory of mine, I'm kind of tempted to go get some Neo Geo hardware just to test this, just to know for sure. Like,
Dan's like, I'm curious enough that I'm just gonna buy a lot of stuff.
Hey.
We just buy I guess emulation might add more, so you can't.
Yeah, emulation would add.
Wasn't there like a PS2 or Wii one though? You could test that one.
No, because each of those, like, keep in mind, there's Street Fighter 3 on the PS2 and the Dreamcast, and those have two different input latencies.
No, but I mean there was one specifically designed for those. It was like a 3D for 2D one.
Right, but that would just be another permutation. It's not as interesting per se as getting like arcade original hardware, or in this case a Neo Geo console, which is the equivalent of our arcade equivalent hardware. But yeah, I don't know, it's still a big ask to buy that sort of stuff, but I think it would be really interesting if the community had numbers.
Phil, have you gone through the story at all yet?
No, I did some practice to get the controls, and then I just went online because I had to go to work, so I was like going to be like, okay, I have an hour to play this. And I played it a little bit more when I got home.
Yeah,
but I haven't gone into the story yet because Judgment got here shortly before I would have gone into the story.
The final boss is really cool.
Oh yeah, no, that final boss is cool as hell.
And then at the end, I think there's a teaser for his boss of Samurai Showdown 4. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but I don't know.
That's cool. But yeah, I still haven't had time to try it out. Maybe I'll get to try it after this podcast. I don't know. Freaking Mario Maker.
Yeah, in the 10 minutes before we have to go get Mario Maker.
Yeah, right? God.
Hype?
Yeah, I'm excited. But it's bad timing. We get Bloodstained 1 week. We get Mario Maker the next week. And the end of that weekend that Mario Maker comes out on, we're doing the Final Fantasy VII stream. It's just bad timing.
Whose idea was that?
At least then you're free until
August.
August?
Yes. I'm free until August. Oh my god, you started him.
But yeah, that was it for what I've been playing. Really just...
that's good, Bob. Hey Bob, you know what I like about you? You use words instead of sound bites.
Yeah,
I use words. I use Super Mario sometimes.
Those aren't words, KZ.
Yeah, they are. You trying to say the word super ain't a word, Bob?
Yes, in this case, I am.
You'll do anything to go against my rule.
KZ, some fights are worth fighting for. Anyway,
is this a Metal Gear thing? Is this the part where me and Bob kiss?
No, that's the that's fan fiction is what that is.
It took you a bit to figure out the best way to approach that.
Hey Bob.
Hey, what's up?
You played some Bloodstained this week? Anything remarkable happened there?
Other than finding out that I need to do a New Game Plus to get 100% for most of this stuff. Not really.
Well,
I got all the souls I could possibly get. I'm just missing one. And that's from an enemy that didn't properly register my system.
Oh?
Yeah.
Oh?
Yeah, apparently one of the bosses.
Oh.
Yep. So,
yeah.
But I got map coverage.
That's what happened with me. That's why I've played through the game so many times. It's rough. But you got your 100% map coverage?
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
It's cool.
I started messing around with the PC versions to see if I could get it to run at 4K.
Uh-huh.
My system can do that, but for some reason when I run the signal across this room via HDMI, it has problems doing that on the TV over there.
Weird.
I don't know why it's doing that. But I can use NVIDIA has this feature where they'll downscale from whatever resolution you want, so that way it works on your lower res monitor. So I use that. It's called DSR, and I ran the game at 4K and then played it back on my 1080p monitor, and it played just fine. So I don't know what's happening there. It's got a weird stuttering thing where every so often it'll roll back the image 2 whole frames, and just for 1 frame it'll show you something that happened multiple frames ago. And it's just really distracting. Like, if it was just dropping frames, that'd be fine, and I would be like, yeah, I'm playing in 4K. Of course it's not 60. But, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
PC know. Gaming, always fun.
See, here's the thing, though. Like, once you brought up, is it just having trouble driving it to the TV? I was like, I wonder if that is the issue. Maybe the video card doesn't have enough juice kicking out that HDMI signal to drive it, 50 feet?
Yeah, we do have that ridiculously long one.
Yeah. Keep in mind, most, like, our consoles drive it just fine. Like, we can drive the 4K from the PS4 Pro over here and the Xbox just fine. I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. But, yeah, for Bloodstained, I did literally everything on PS4. Completely done with mastering all the techniques. And, man, yeah, the samurai sword has a ton of techniques.
Yeah.
It's kind of ludicrous.
It's real cool.
Yeah, it is. Weirdly enough, I can't talk about that. That's spoilers.
What's your attack power at? 4 million?
No, I stopped playing, so the peak is still like 920 something. But I stopped on that version and started playing some PC version. Tried to get a fast as possible bunny morphosis run down and learned some new techniques. So I think once I'm finally done refining my bunny morphosis only run, I should be able to get through that game in under 5 hours. 4.5, under 4.5 probably. But
that's always exciting when you figure out how to
break the fucking
take the game you really like and just make it as optimized and quick as possible.
I mean, there's something really funny to that. At the same time, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's like it's so much more powerful than anything else. Like, by the time you get bunny morphosis,
that makes it make more sense in your brain when you go, I have played this game a lot, but I do it so well now. I can get it done really fast. I'm not wasting as much time.
Well, see, that's a good thing because, and this is the main thing I wanted to talk about, the Switch version is something I definitely want to spend as little time as possible playing through.
What are you talking about? It looked fine to me.
Yeah, no. It is insanely low res.
Said they're making some fixes. They're coming out.
Yeah, they're trying to fix all of it.
That probably should have been delayed a month or two, but I imagine too many people would have cried, and that's why it wasn't.
The funny thing is
they would have gotten more bad press.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fucked up part.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were like, we have to optimize this port so the game's delayed, 6 weeks. They would have gotten so much crying.
It would have been fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's because it is like, no, that's not actually something that they could feasibly do without getting burned alive.
Can you imagine if they hadn't canceled the fucking Vita version?
Let me put this as kindly as I can. No.
I can't. So I even think about it.
I can't even imagine them shipping that.
No, it's okay. They got a custom version of Unreal 4 running on the Vita.
Is it sad that I'm not in the industry and I could have told them like right off the bat, no, don't worry about Wii U or Vita. It's not happening, champ. Just fucking give up.
That happened to like every Kickstarter that launched like in 2014 or 15.
Yeah.
Like every Ukulele, all of them were like, no, the Wii U and the Vita, they all had to like pull those back. Like you don't have fucking that much foresight.
Yeah. No.
They had to put them on there because they wanted people to get excited.
Yeah. The sad thing is
nobody wanted it on well, there's always going to be that one insane person, but 99.9% of people didn't care.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that Castlevania games are popular with people who play Nintendo platforms because a lot of them were portables, Nintendo portables, and NES, So they needed to ship on something, Nintendo, and I guess the Switch is the victim. At least with the refined Switch hardware coming out sometime in the next year, I guess, it'll run better on that. That's something, right?
Yeah. Hey, that's it. That's an important model. We can finally get a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in its portable mode, running better than I think it was like 490p.
I don't think a portable only version will run anything better.
Yeah, well,
I guess it could.
Yeah, no, I mean, the original Switch hardware is made on a 20 nanometer process, which is really outdated.
Oh yeah, they would use a more modern one.
Yeah, so even that will allow them to drive the voltages higher. I think that Digital Foundry video came out recently, and they aren't confirming this as something that'll be an active mode on the Switch, but the hardware that is absolutely going in one of the new Switch remodels, or both of them, has something like a 33% clock rate increase on the GPU side at very least, so that would help Xenoblade, in theory.
I'm just looking forward to a lot of games that I can now see at 1080 instead of 720.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
I enjoy that game a lot, but it is the ugliest game I own on that on that platform. Like,
because it'll go down to sub SD on portable. It'll go down to like 230p or something weird.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 4.
I see people talk about that a lot. I've never tried it in portable because as is docked, it still looks awful.
Yeah, no, that game looks rough.
It's one of my favorite JRPGs in recent memory, but you go, okay, this doesn't look too bad. It's like, it's a little ugh. Then you hit an open area and you go,
it's almost like the Switch is really bad at those.
Yeah, it's not exactly a powerful CPU inside. I think it's kind of funny because it looks like the next revision is just a more refined version of the exact hardware in the first one. Like it seems like it's just, we made a fancier version of that, and it's not, here's a massive architectural upgrade, which I did kind of expect, because by the time the Switch shipped, that hardware was kind of outdated. But I don't want to get too in the weeds with this stuff. I'm just going to say the Switch version's really rough. We're talking tons of pop-in, really long load times, super blurry resolution. I don't think the new Switch is going to fix it, but it'll at least help with load times and stuff. And the last thing I'm going to say about this before moving on, did you guys fucking know that the load times on Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey improved since launch drastically?
No.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, yes.
I heard that, but I didn't see it demonstrate.
So the reason why is Nintendo apparently was being very conservative with what they would allow the Switch to clock to in portable mode and dock mode. And past those games launching, they unlocked a feature at the OS level that developers can tap into, where it's called like a CPU boost mode, where it will clock up really high for a short amount of time. So they do that on the loading screens. So it cut out like a third of the load time on Mario Odyssey and even more on Zelda. But once it gets to normal gameplay, it just clocks back down to normal. That is a really cool technique, and there's no way in hell this game's using it at any point.
They said they were pretty specific about they're looking into something to optimize load times in the Switch version.
They were talking about they were talking about optimizing a lot of things. One of the things is, what was it? It was the most insane part of the email. They were like, we're looking at a new technique for jumping in the Switch version, and I'm like, what? Like, and this may have something to do with when your frame rate gets that low, your collision detection gets a little rough. I had Malezra, viewer of GigaBoots, message me and talk to me about how he was fighting those twin dragons on the tower, and when they do that attack where they both bite each other's faces, he crouched underneath, slid, popped into the floor, and ran around to the backside of the dragon.
That's raw.
Oh no.
And he was able to find other people on GameFAQs saying the exact same thing happened to them. I'm like, this is
Went
ridiculous.
Through that, still got grabbed for the kill.
Yep, right.
I have to imagine the whole of Dragon Tower is just unplayable on the Switch.
Yeah, I still haven't made it there, and I won't have time
that one
to
boss
soon.
toward the end of the game with the poker chips.
Yeah, Valafar. Yeah, I'm sure that's a frame a second.
I was on a PS4 Pro, and I can still feel like, man, this must be like 20.
On PS4 vanilla, it literally, you have to trust me on this, even though it's by eye, it was like 8 frames. It was so bad.
Oh man, Ocarina of Time.
Oh man, old games used to be so much better. Let's run our frame rates as low as them. Maybe that'll make gaming good again.
Make our frame rate low to get better scores.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dan. The majority of AAA games have been about as fast as Ocarina of Time for like 3 years.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So KZ, did you play anything that wasn't Bloodstained? Or
aside from that and stuff I have to do for videos, there is a racing game on the PlayStation 4 created originally by Naughty Dog.
Team Sonic Racing?
And I got to really experience that, really hyped up. I'm of course talking about Jack X Combat Racing.
Thank God.
Nice.
PS2 game that they put on PS4.
Yep.
When are we getting Uncharted Kart?
Uncarted. Yeah.
They should have just contracted that out and had that made just for the bit. Make it a $20 downloadable title, have like 6 characters and 3
I
maps.
want to play Sully in a kart racer.
The best part is
Joel.
In between the races, Joel or damn it, Bob. Nathan Drake talks to oh man, what's his wife's name?
Elena.
I was like, EL shit. And then all I could think of was fucking Street Fighter. No, all I could think of was Street Fighter. And I was like, Eliza Kick. No. But anyway, no, Elena. He has to talk to Elena in between matches. And every time she's just like, you said you would stop, Nathan. You said we were coming clean. He's like, I'm trying. And then she's like,
"Oh
Are
God,
you?"
that it's gonna be just like Jack X Combat Racing, where there's
Oh my God.
there's straight up modes where you're supposed to collect treasure on the map.
Oh, that's good. That's really good, actually.
This is getting more real than I expected it to. I played like 20 minutes of it. It's all right.
Cool.
I remember playing it a decent bit off a demo disc.
Mm-hmm.
And then I picked it up later on, and I enjoyed it because I like all the Jack games, and it's a fun distraction. I do want to play the Crash Team Racing because I looked at footage of it and it looked fun.
I think not to be a jerk here, I think you've done the worst thing you could do of playing a PS2 kart racer from the same people who designed the original Crash Team. And then, because you're playing it on a PS4 emulator, so it looks nice and high res, right?
Yeah.
And then you're jumping over to this, which is going to be another Activision repackaging of a classic game that is trying to emulate the feel of it, but who knows? I feel
like day one, I saw people posting comparison videos where it's like, this trick doesn't work anymore, this is bullshit.
Yeah,
Thankfully, I've never played Crash Team Racing.
Right.
So I will basically not care.
I was having a conversation with Eric where he's like, yeah, we had to get back into, because him and his girlfriend are playing it. He's like, yeah, we had to get back into the headspace or whatever, of the controls and getting used to it. And I'm like, not that would help. It probably feels completely different.
Yeah. Also the fact apparently it outsold Team Sonic Racing 4 times over in 1 week, so I'm like, the
I'm sure it did.
Pretty active.
Something fuck Sonic haters there. Yeah,
I mean, people are hungry for Crash. It had that renewal. People love the trilogy coming back. I think it's totally reasonable.
Plus, Crash Team Racing got a lot more promotion than Sonic.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I think they're playing those ads on YouTube
that
constantly.
They brought Crash back with those remakes and then remade the racing game that people have not shut the fuck up about since the late 90s. And even that is apparently great.
I did a pretty good job of avoiding Crash Team stands for years. And then I met Eric sometime around 2007, 2008. And then, I don't know, I still made it about 3 years. And then it's
Kirby, though.
And then it's been nonstop for 9 years now.
I'm surprised Kirby wasn't like, no, fuck all those games. Kirby's Air Ride.
Oh, he likes Kirby's Air Ride, yeah. But he... So the thing with Crash Team Racing fans, that I've experienced through online discourse and Eric is that they tell you it's better than Mario Kart, that Mario Kart isn't as good and doesn't feel as good, and in fact took things from it. So Crash Team Racing is great. That's what I have to hear from them. And, statements like that are kind of why people don't get into things like Ava. When they hear, this anime shit, Ava's way better, go watch Ava. When you're like, nah, this anime's fine. Now I'm not going to go watch Ava. And that's a shout out to Voxandra.
Anime club people.
Hey, man. We don't go to that Waffle House anymore. Did you see me talking about that, Bob?
No.
You're cowards.
No.
Go challenge him.
No.
Oh, yeah, there was an assessment made on Twitter. Of course your Taco Bell's bad. It's right next to a Waffle House.
Yep. Dylan said that because Avignon asked where to send the flowers when we die for the Final Fantasy VII stream, and I sent a fucking street address of a Taco Bell. Mm-hmm. And then Dylan was like, yeah, of course it's bad. It's right next to a Waffle House. And I said, hey, that used to be the good Waffle House until fucking weebs with terrible opinions started working there, and we haven't been back since.
Here's
what
you do.
To tell you about the Ava dub.
No, you know what? It's so much worse than that. We're talking Raito tier. The people who said his name isn't Light Yagami, it's Raito. That's the tier. That is.
The funny thing is, both the Taco Bells around are next to Waffle Houses.
Yes.
Is it how it
They
worked out?
both always get your stuff wrong.
Keep in mind, you can't eat anywhere in this region and not get your order fucked up somehow.
How did you get in a conversation with a weeb working at a Waffle House? How did you engage with your server at a level beyond giving your order?
Okay, one, it's a Waffle House, so of course we're there in the dead of night. Two, do you think I engaged with my server about fucking dick? We were just talking.
Here's what you do.
We were just
when he
talking.
talks to you,
And then
when he talks to you, you don't respond to him.
She walked her ass across the entire restaurant just to be like, hey, I heard you talking about anime.
Phil, what is it like when you go to a restaurant? They're like, hey, how's it going? And you just blankly stare at them until they leave?
No, but if they were like, I heard this conversation you were having, may I, an employee, join? I would stare.
Hey, man.
KZ, I quit my first job by walking out. Months later, when the boss, I saw them in a grocery store, asked me what happened, I said, you must have the wrong person, and then walked in the other direction.
A master.
I feel like you're a Seinfeld bit.
I feel like that specifically is a Seinfeld bit. It'd be like, listen, Jerry, you just gotta pretend you don't know them. And then Jerry does it.
But you do a podcast with one of them.
So yeah, we don't go to that Waffle House. That's the end of that story. Hey, KZ.
By the way, that's all I played. Move on to the next person.
Yeah, I figured
out. Falling apart already.
I was just gonna check in on you and be like, yeah, just Jack X, huh? In 2019, in the year of our Lord 2019, Jack X. Okay, moving on.
Okay, so the bit is that I did not play anything this week, but for the past 20 minutes, I've been playing Jack X Combat Racing.
Oh my god!
You know, they should have just let that be the last Jack game instead of making Jack and the Lost Frontier.
It's okay. Most people didn't own PSP, so they don't know.
They also put it on PS2. All those,
I forgot they did that.
Like weird, all those games that they made to promote the PSP, like Daxter and the Ratchet and Clank one, and the two Grand Theft Autos,
Secret Agent Clank.
They were like, we give up almost immediately, and then put them on PS2.
It wasn't almost immediately. It was like a couple years.
It was long enough for the PS2 to be completely done.
Yeah,
so it would be pointless anyway.
It was like 2008. I know because I bought Twisted Metal. What was it called?
Head On.
No. What's the PS2 edition called?
Oh, I don't remember.
Extra Twisted Edition. Yeah, I bought that. No, that thing's worth its weight in gold because it comes with the original live action endings for the original Twisted Metal. It's got the terrible acting. It's so fucking unreal. We make jokes about it to this day. The acting is so perfectly awful. So yeah, it's totally worth it. I don't know. It's not as...
So there was 1 year before between Ratchet and Clank on PSP and PS2. Jak and Daxter launched simultaneously.
That's weird.
Yeah, but again, it launched simultaneously, but it was like 2006 or something, right?
No, it was like 08.
08, yeah.
There was also
long
6
after
months between
no one
the
cared.
Grand Theft Auto ones. Yeah, there was 6 months on each.
So, Feel.
I played Samurai Shodown, but we already talked about that. I finished Atelier Lulua. That game's good. I still give it a 9 out of 10 for the series. I'd probably give it my I think it's the second best one, probably. I don't really have anything to say about it beyond that. You get to the point where you're looping stuff to do crafting that I always like, but I'm not good at, so I have to go look up how to do it.
I love crafting.
I meant to ask, Phil, on the Atelier games, you mentioned that you play as the daughter of the main characters from the first game. Do they introduce, like, who her father is, or is that, like, not established?
She's adopted.
Oh, okay.
They don't make it super clear initially. Maybe they did and I just zoned out and missed that part, but they talk about it multiple times. Because one of the areas in the starting town is just an orphanage that you visit and get scenes, and apparently she's just from that orphanage.
Okay.
Other than that, I played Judgment. Judgment is the new not Yakuza game.
Is it in the Fist of the North Star universe?
No, it's a good game. First of all, it's like on the same engine and uses basically the same combat system and map, but they changed the way they use the camera and all the UI enough that it actually feels like a different series, which is strange, especially for me because I'm like a new type when it comes to Yakuza, because I played every single game in the series in the span of like 5 years, so I can still see every single animation and know which game they introduced in. So it's like, wow, all the UI is different and the menus are different. The sound when text is rolling out is exactly the same, though.
That's how you know that it's a Yakuza game when you clap.
That game's really good. It has a really good story. It's a little bit more serious than the Yakuza games, tone-wise, I think. Like, it doesn't start... The Yakuza games always have, like, a couple chapters where it's, like, low-end, kind of casual things, and then the story kicks in and it gets serious, and then it lulls down a little bit. It seems pretty serious from the get here. Like, the opening cutscene alone is really incredible in setting the tone. I think it's funny that the protagonist of this game is more of a Yakuza than any of the protagonists from the Yakuza games.
Yeah, I was going to say, how is that the case? Because I saw your tweet.
Well, first of all, he was, like, adopted into a Yakuza family almost. His partner is an ex-Yakuza, and the very first thing you control is him tracking a guy to shake him down.
That is exactly what I want out of my Renegade Cop game.
I feel like, isn't that the same way that Zero started?
He's not a cop even. People, I feel like they didn't like explain this well enough. He's not a police detective. He's a private detective.
Yeah.
Which basically means he's a thug people hire.
Yep.
But it's cool.
There's this really great moment at the end of the first thing where your partner beats the shit out of this guy you were shaking down, and he's like, I'll sue you. And he pulls out his attorney's badge that he has and shows it to the guys and be like, you really want to try to sue me? And the guy like wets himself.
You made a tweet about this game saying it reached new levels of Kiryu's never killed anyone.
Yeah, he has a move you can unlock. He has an ability you can unlock where you leapfrog over people, because they brought back styles because 6 and Kiwami 2 didn't have them, but there's only 2. They're like distilled down, where he has Crane style, which is for groups, and Tiger style, which is for single guys. But he has a move you can unlock where he like hops over somebody and it's to reposition yourself, and he has a heat action off of, but they're called EX actions in this game, where he like hops over them and then like anime flips them over so their legs are facing straight up and then pile drives the top of their head into the pavement.
They're necky wecky.
They're fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Like, and the sound effect and like hit flash makes it seem like murder.
Yeah, when you said that, I heard it in my head. I heard the Yakuza sound design.
It's just like Kiryu's never killed anyone. Cut to heat action where he stabs someone, then kicks the knife further inside.
No, he knees it. My favorite Kiryu never killed everyone bit in the world is the clip from Kiwami where he enters a restaurant, asks for a guy. A guy pulls out a giant machine gun, and Kiryu pulls a random waiter in front of him. And the waiter just gets shot to pieces. And the video just, put Kiryu singing and slowed it down once the bullets start flying. I'm going to link it right now so Dan can put it in the description.
It's okay. That guy had his shirt filled with phone books. He's fine. Just like the knife guy.
Yeah.
Phone books all up in their shirts.
Yeah, that
He was wearing 10 shirts.
Yep.
that checks out. This all checks out.
If I wear 3 shirts, I can survive a Desert Eagle shot.
3 Kevlar shirts.
Wait, is that not what you wear normally, Bob?
I mean, you're a Yakuza. You have to.
Also, I live in Florida.
Yeah.
You do submissions or wait. There's not like the normal form of sub stories in this game. You have friend missions and.
What else do we have? So what do we do?
CKZ said that, Bob, because Field dropped out of Discord entirely right as he
So
finished
hey
saying it.
everybody.
I figured.
See, you got friend missions. I'm gonna be field for this.
Oh,
It's where
okay.
you go on missions for your friends. He went straight offline, so who fucking knows what that?
no.
Hey, so we got friend missions.
No, he's showing up yellow. Oh, hey, there he is. We can't hear you.
Oh, yeah, we have friend missions.
Friend
Yeah, we
mission
do.
confirmed.
This is a friend mission right now. It's called a podcast.
There's friend missions, and then there's missions. There's side stories that you take from the. You have a message board in your apartment, and there's a couple other places they are too. And they're basically like stalk my husband to find out he's cheating on me, or fight the 3 perverts of Kamurocho who are based on Pokemon. Like the first one is the Panty Professor, who has an unbelievable boss fight because when you corner him, he whips out a pair of panties, goes, "These are whatever supermodel's underwear I stole," then shoves them into his face and inhales and goes Super Saiyan.
Oh, that's what's the name of that fucking series, Bob? Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Popeye.
No, it's Hentai Rider. What the fuck? It's a
Hentai
comic.
No, he doesn't.
Hentai common.
He doesn't put them on his face. He just shoves them into his nose and breathes to absorb the energy.
Well, that did do that. That dude did that too, but he wore it eventually to make it easier. That movie, by the way, hilarious.
And then the second guy, which I haven't done the mission yet, but somebody showed me screenshots, is just named Ass Ketchum.
What?
No.
And he's a serial groper.
That's.
Wow.
I can't.
I will say that the tailing people, part of the game is not great, but it's not that long and it's fairly rare. But it's like the most basic.
Did you have to tail Ass Ketchum?
No.
Yeah, they put
But
that in
you
the
have- but
demo,
it's
and I
so-
was like, "Oh, this is bad. I hope that isn't part of the game."
It's not. It is, but it's not in there very much. They brought back chases, though. I feel like that Nagoshi, who is the director of Yakuza, the creator of the Yakuza series, and now he's the director of half of Sega altogether. He must really like chases because they've always been in Yakuza. They were always terrible. Then they went away. Then they came back.
I mean,
So he must just really like the idea of chasing a guy.
I mean, it's a.
I
good
also like that.
It's a good way to space out your content. You know, you built a giant world,
Exciting.
make them run it. That's content.
But the
Not
combat
world,
is
though.
much. Yakuza 6 was pretty rough because it was the first Dragon Engine game.
Mm-hmm.
Then Kiwami 2 was a lot better. This is even better than that, and I really think when we get Shin Yakuza starring the new guy, it's just going to be fantastic.
Which we're gonna see info on that in like a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
It'll probably release in
it'll
like 2 days, I
probably
don't
be
know.
this one. It'll probably be this winter. They always release in winter.
They made like an announcement about like showing stuff. I didn't put it on the news. I think it's like the 11th, maybe. Saw
Yeah, it's
something
an
about
announcement of an announcement.
it. I'm excited for announcements.
Also, you can have fight. First of all, like this small studio is clowning on a lot of Western open world games, because you can go inside most buildings and it's seamless.
That's why the map's a lot smaller than the other open worlds people do, where they're like, it's got to be big.
You can't go inside anything, no.
Yeah.
Also, and I got into a fight in the batting cages and kicked a guy through a row of crane machines, and they all exploded, and the frame rate went down to like 2. Only for a second, but it was like killer. It was like King Crimson activated, and everybody moved around because it could not handle 4 claw machines exploding at once.
Somebody showed a picture on either the Bloodstained Discord or my Discord in the Bloodstained channel where they used certain abilities and then kept stacking one of the shards on top of itself over and over and dropped their frame rate down to 4. I was like, that's amazing.
Real flex.
By the way, if you're wondering why that story was underwhelming, it's because I realized if I fully described what occurred, it would have spoiled the shit out of something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whoops. Anyway.
And that's all I got to say about Judgment. That's all I played.
Okay, I have one last note before we move on to the news. So in order to do the Bloodstained spoiler cast, which is going up the day we are recording this, I needed some music from the game. And instead of recording it from the game itself, I was like, it'll just be easier if I buy the soundtrack. Plus, they made the soundtrack, like the Steam version now just downloads FLAC versions on top of the MP3s. I don't think what I'm about to describe is because it's FLAC. I think it's just because the game's audio engineering's fucking weird. Like it overly compresses everything. That soundtrack sounds fucking amazing in a way that's almost undescribable. Like you gotta listen to it after this podcast, Bob. Like it is, there's so much detail in the strings and shit because it's actually orchestrated.
Yeah, I remember
it's actually orchestral.
They were getting an orchestra for it.
But like it in the game, you know, it's so compressed and lacking detail. I don't know if like they're using horrifically compressed audio files or because I know on PC, the whole game gets so loud that Windows itself has to compress it.
All versions have to be made with the Switch in mind. Okay.
No. I mean, let's be real. Did you even make this game with the PS4 vanilla in mind?
I know.
But I just, guys, you owe it to yourselves if you really like the soundtrack, go and buy the Steam version. It sounds unreal how good it is. I wasn't wearing my nice headphones even. I was just listening to it out of the speakers I have hooked up to my system. And it's incredible. Like, it's so good. I just wanted to say that. Anyway, we can move on to the news now. I've got some news to talk about. Yeah, what's up?
Now, before we do news, I just want to let you know. So, over the past couple of weeks, I've been thinking about something when it comes to this podcast. Now, what if, before we did news, we did a segment where we thank the people to give us money?
That sounds like a pretty good idea. Okay, 1 second. Let me pull that up. Sorry, I'm not used to doing this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Be careful, I heard Patreon updates their layout once every day.
Well, you know, the good thing is I assume this will get easier as we go, and it'll be something I'm used to doing it every time, because I think this is a pretty good segment, and we should work it in. Let me go ahead and just read their names.
Sure. You should probably call them, like, Podlords or something.
The Podlords for this episode of the Big Think Dimension are Danny Richardson, Notgag, Ely Broyles, Bam Madrigal, Vox, Crimson, Corey Brown, Dank Mormons, Red Blaze 27, and Jucifer, who changed his name since last time. Thank you very much to our Podlords.
He wasn't feeling that confident about the 3DS anymore, I guess.
He was like, one's enough, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
PlayStation
Podlords.
Thanks, Podlord.
Thanks, Vita enthusiasts.
Hey, see, the Podlords exist.
Yeah.
The Vita exists. Thank you to our PSP Goes.
Yes! Don't forget, the 10th anniversary of the PSP Goes coming up in August.
And we got that image.
Yeah, somebody actually did make the Dr. Phil handing you a PSP Go instead of an L image, and it made me laugh a lot. That was pretty good.
I forgot that was a bit, so I got really excited.
You're like, what is this? How delightful! never had someone hand me something I want so much. How often do you say that, Casey? Casey,
almost as often as Super Mario.
Almost. Not quite. That's a high bar.
Yep.
But, I hear we got some news.
Like what?
Mighty Switch Force Collection is coming to the PS4 on July 25th, and it contains Mighty Switch Force 1, Mighty Switch Force 2, Mighty Switch Force Hyperdrive Edition. For those who don't know, that's the HD version they made for the Wii U back in the day, and Mighty Switch Force Academy, a game that I still haven't touched for even a second. I am very excited for this. Bob, you hype?
Yeah, my Switch Force games are pretty fun.
Yeah.
I buy them again.
I want them to be on platforms where people can play them, not the 3DS and Wii U exclusively.
Yeah.
Yep.
$20.
$20 is a good deal.
Look forward to buying this.
Yeah. I mean, I was excited for it. I was like, thank God. I've been wanting them to port Mighty Switch Force 1 to the PS4 since it came out. So getting all of it is even better. Especially at $20, because if I remember correctly, Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Hyperdrive Edition originally $15 by itself?
I think that's right. I'm pretty sure.
And it was like kind of a hard sell to convince people to go spend $15 on it. Because, indie games, it's a tough market, Like, there are a lot of great $15 indie games, and I feel like an HD version of Mighty Switch Force 1 is maybe a little too small scope. But it is a delightful puzzle game for anyone who's never played it, where you use the shoulder buttons to trigger blocks appearing or disappearing, and you need to race through a level, getting 5 different. What's her name? Patty Wagon.
Yeah, that's right.
Her name's
name's Patty Wagon.
Patty Wagon, and you race through a level, getting escaped convicts who are all hot blondes for some reason, and returning them to jail. It's pretty great game. It has a soundtrack by Vert. It's one of my favorite things he's ever composed. Yeah.
They're called the Hooligan Sisters, by the way. They're all related.
Oh, okay.
This is important information.
It is good to know for Googling it. But Bob.
On the subject of indie games costing too much, I feel like we've really moved as a society, because you know how much that new Monster Boy game is?
How much is that
Monster
new
Boy and the Cursed Kingdom?
How much?
$40.
Does it look as good as the last one? There were so many Monster Boy things all in a row and Wonder Boy things in a row. I was confused.
Yes, it's the next one after the remake of the old one. So hopefully that game controls good, because the first one was weird because it looked so good and then controlled like a Master System game.
Yeah, because it's literally running the exact same code, because you could push a button to change it back to the original game.
To instantly switch.
Mm-hmm.
Because the original version was perfect, right?
It was perfect.
So is this just about how indie games are becoming more expensive?
I mean,
in general,
how we can now have bigger scale indie games and people won't complain unless those people eat glue.
I remember people losing their shit because The Witness was $40 at launch.
Yeah. I feel like it took this entire generation to get to a point where 30 and 40 are a lot more possible seeming. And I'm perfectly fine with this. If somebody came out with a Sky Odyssey sort of spiritual successor, I would totally play that. Do we have any other spiritual successors to talk about in this week's news? Let's go ahead and talk about that now.
The developers of Ace Studios, who developed Xenoclash, Abyss Odyssey, and Rock of Ages, are making Soul Seraph, which is supposed to be a spiritual successor to ActRaiser. It comes out July 10th. Did any of you guys play Abyss Odyssey?
Yeah, we played a little bit.
I can't imagine they're letting them make it like that, because that has that weird Smash Bros. Style control to it.
Yeah.
It looks like it controls so similarly. Like, it looks like it feels the same.
I mean, I can look at it and tell you the physics and everything are fucked. It is by no means on the scale of ActRaiser, and I don't, like, not to sound like a complete asshole here. If Iga can make his first fucking 3D outing for making a 2D style Igavania feel perfect in time for an E3 demo years ago, I feel like a non-indie sort of proper spiritual successor to ActRaiser should be able to nail how ActRaiser felt on the Super NES.
Well, here's the problem, Dan. They're going to overemphasize the God parts and underemphasize the 2D platformer parts, and as a result, neither will feel right.
Oh, nice.
I hear Yuzo Koshiro is going to do the intro music at least.
Is it just the intro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
It's
Yeah,
just the intro
music.
What?
Which they got yelled at a little bit. And there was like a brief window where it's like, we have original team members from ActRaiser helping, and then it turned out to be Yuzo Koshiro doing one song, so they took that out.
Yeah, I saw that, and then later I saw it was Yuzo Koshiro, and I didn't see the part where they apologized or retracted it actively. I don't think they actively did it. I think they just silently did it because people called them out. I just put 2 and 2 together, and I was like, that's what they were talking about. That's kind of annoying as hell. How dare they? Pretty not thrilled.
Does a good composer doing one song for a game make you pop?
One composer doing one song? No. If Michiru Yamane only did one song on Ritual of the Night, that wouldn't have meant shit to me. Because Michiru Yamane did one song for Dawn of Sorrow. It was a remake of Vampire Killer. It played in the lower right region of the map. It really didn't make me go, man, what a great soundtrack.
And this is the intro song.
Yeah, I don't give a shit, like, at all.
I think it's neat that they got
look at this and it's like,
for that.
Your last 2D platformer didn't feel good, and I know that you're going to underemphasize the 2D parts and overemphasize the God stuff, and I can tell by looking at it that you did that because they show like RTS style troop management in the trailer, and I'm like, that's not what ActRaiser was.
I mean, I'm not sure if that's what they're showing there, but you can see that they've definitely developed it more. I mean, I just look at the 2D platforming and I can instantly tell the physics are wrong. They aren't Sonic 4 Episode 1 wrong, but they are not right.
You can stand on a wall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sonic 4 is incredible in how that just everything about it.
Here's the thing. I have every trophy from both Sonic 4s.
Of course you do.
Yeah, because that's... So I don't want to hear people who are like, Sonic 4 is bad and they've never played it, shit on it. But getting back to the soundtrack conversation, KZ, imagine there was a... See, you've been lucky. Kingdom Hearts didn't die at any point. You're very lucky in that regard. But imagine there was a spiritual successor to Kingdom Hearts, and they got some no-name composer for the majority of it, but hey, guess who's doing the intro song? It's not Utada, it's Shimomura. We're just getting her for the intro song. Utada's nowhere to be found. The entire soundtrack is done by someone you don't even know. How excited does that have you?
I don't know. Skrillex involved. He's now a major fixture in the Kingdom Hearts franchise now.
You joke, but honestly, if they announce the next Kingdom Hearts and they're like, Skrillex is back and he's doing more music, I would be fucking excited.
I'm gonna be pumped just because he's a big Kingdom Hearts fan.
But telling me that Yuzo Koshiro did the intro thing does nothing for me. And I love the soundtrack to many Yuzo games.
There's one other thing that worries me about this. I don't think that in 2019 you can make a spiritual successor to a game where you play as God, oversee the capital G God, oversee the development of humanity, and then fight Satan and not be weird about it.
How do you mean not be weird about it? Like, in what way?
I think they're gonna it won't be as cool.
I mean,
you'll be like a spirit or something lame.
You think? I think now is the correct environment to make a game that releases in North America where you're playing capital G God.
I feel like even Abyss Odyssey, they let him get pretty weird with that stuff, and
yeah, that studio gets pretty weird with everything.
Yeah,
I feel like the difference though, Sega is publishing this.
I need to make an important correction. You don't play as God in ActRaiser. You play as the Master facing off against the evil Tanzra.
Yeah, Tanzra.
You gotta know your stuff.
Dude, I played a retranslation of that game for a failed Let's Play with Eric years ago. We tried to start that Let's Play twice and had technical problems both times that ruined it, so we gave up.
Aw.
Some of that properly done retranslation is fucking incredible. Where it's just like, yeah, my son's fucking dead. Can you play some music so we're not sad? I'm like, wow.
That is incredible.
That's pretty.
I'll always just think
different.
about the Game Center CX episode where he played that game where Cacho Arino played ActRaiser, and he got to the chapter where the demons make everybody fight.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to solve the fight, and so he cast Earthquake and killed all of them, and he's like, fighting's done.
Smart man.
That's called being a problem solver.
Yeah. Ari knows a go-getter.
Someone asked me about this game, because I didn't know it was announced at first. And I went, there's a spiritual... And then I looked at it, and I went, this looks okay. I like the god element that was in ActRaiser a lot, so I'd like to try a game like this. It definitely doesn't look great. That's a game that's swimming in sixes.
It's okay. They just took out all their inspiration from ActRaiser 2. That's the one people liked, right?
See, Bob, when I looked at it and it looked like it controlled bad, I was like, oh god, it's just going to be the spiritual successor of ActRaiser 2.
No, it looks like
I felt like that with the wings.
It looks like it controls bad in a whole different way.
I don't know.
I actually kind of like ActRaiser 2.
You're a fucking mongrel.
I mean, it's nowhere near as good as ActRaiser 1. But I don't think it's just like
you outed yourself.
Platformer.
Everything you've said about this game is now invalid.
I just said it wasn't nearly as good, and it is an entirely different genre.
Submit. Be gone.
KZ, you said Final Fantasy X-2 was better than 9. You don't get to talk about people discrediting themselves.
Yeah, that's what happens when you play a game has high production values but really boring characters.
You played Final Fantasy 12?
Actually, you're right. Let me update that since I played 12. 12 below 9.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's all we're asking for.
I feel like that's just going to make more people angry now.
Nah.
Yeah, but again, I'm being genuine.
Yeah, Phil, it's going to make more people angry, but those people are stupid.
Burn.
They're not stupid. I respect them. Thank you to our pod lord.
They're definitely not mutants.
I mean, our pod lords
I would not
they don't
call
like
people
upscalers.
mutants.
Yeah, they don't like waifu upscaling as a mandatory in their video games.
You know, waifus are good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what has waifus in it?
What?
Astral Chain. It's got like waifu cops.
Oh, does it? Bob?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there is the one, the Wayne Cop girl you can play as.
Yeah.
That could be considered a waifu. Yeah, the only Astral Chain news this week is a mistranslation because some weird segment of IGN translated something that the director said as meaning that it was going to be a trilogy. And then the director had to come out later and be like, no, I was saying I had enough that I could write a trilogy if I needed to.
The internet's a great place.
So
I love how no one waits for news to be properly translated.
I like how game sites don't have anybody on staff who can speak Japanese, so they just fucking steal info from anywhere, including other sites that can't speak Japanese.
Yes.
That TIFA article was real bad.
Hey, guess what? Hire somebody or shut up.
It was very bad. Someone on Twitter said it was there.
I mean, that's not fair though. If game sites had to hire people who know things to cover stuff, they'd never be able to cover anything.
I mean, wouldn't it be fucking amazing if we had some sort of gaming website that was staffed by translators and people who understand game development? That'd be fucking unreal.
nobody would want to see that.
Yeah, but those people
man.
would want money, Dan.
Yeah, those people would want money, and to be honest, I think Bob may be right. I think people would rather hear some likable person talk about a video game than someone who's gonna have an insightful perspective.
Yeah, that's why YouTubers are so successful. Game journalists don't have any likable people talking about games.
I love Greg Miller.
Greg Miller does journalism? Since when?
No, he has expressly said he does not.
Well, that's good.
Okay, then we're fine. As long as I don't have to listen to him.
Yeah, no, everything's good. You know, I heard that guy wasn't going to be at E3 next year for a hot day there, and then the ESA rolled back on that.
Wait, what?
I subscribed to their channel, so I saw like the headline for it. And I'm like, this got to be a bit, and it wasn't a bit. And hearing it described, fuck the ESA. What are they doing?
The ESA for a hot minute there sent him an email and said, "We found someone else with your badge. You're banned from E3 next year."
What?
And he was like, "Hey guys, I'd like to pull up this video real quick. This is me at the GameSpot Live thing that was filmed as E3 was closing." When did I have time to do this wrong?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It was some clown shit, but it was good to see him pull out his best suit to appeal to the ESA, which he fucked up and added the wrong ESA.
Yeah, he tagged the European Space Agency on Twitter.
Oh my god.
And then they responded and said, "Hey, can you get me into E3?"
This is sad.
That's really good.
You know, when you think about it, the ESA is really strict, okay? Mm-hmm. Apparently his badge showed up somewhere. That's inexcusable, unlike filming in a bathroom with a child in it.
Yeah.
Slap on the wrist.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to assume for all intents and purposes until someone proves me wrong, which conveniently you can't, that someone at the ESA fucking hates Greg Miller. And they just went, "We got him this time."
Now our evil plan.
He's putting out the fake or Greg Miller IDs.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing who bites.
He's like, "I'll just leave these on the sidewalk." But
naturally Devolver immediately said, "Hey, if you want to go to our space for E3, you can totally do that."
Yeah, no, that's their role in the industry, it seems.
Yes, they're immediately like, "Hey, we can work with this."
Retweeted a thing from Dr. Aggro since the last big think. I believe it went, "So, E3's over. Did Devolver mention Metal Wolf Chaos at all?"
No,
but they tweeted about it after their conference saying, "It's coming."
Yeah, I think that they specifically said that we're going to talk about that after E3, and now we are firmly after E3 and nothing.
And nothing has been said. Hey, Bob, you know what's also after E3? December.
Yes, everything. In fact, is after E3 and before E3.
Mm-hmm.
It just is all a nebulous space.
Yes.
But yeah, I got other news here.
Oh, that's cool.
Like Ape Escape 20th anniversary. They opened up a Twitter account for it. They made a commemorative video about it.
Oh, cool.
There seems to be hope. Hope for Ape Escape.
Hey guys, I
can hope.
I leaked this news weeks ago. You didn't believe me. We are getting a PS5 Ape Escape game. We're probably getting the first one remade. That shit's happening.
I want you to think about this. PS4, what was your iconic 3D platformer? Knack.
2.
PS5, Ape Escape.
Yeah, PS5's getting Ape Escape. That's just going to blow the walls off of shit.
Okay. You get Ape Escape, but it's Ape Escape cross Knack.
I'll take it.
Yeah, sure.
As long as there aren't any orcs.
Yeah, as long as Knack doesn't have anything to be racist about, we're all good.
Right?
He has monkeys now. That's worse.
Yes, it is. It's okay. His racism will spread to Spike, and then Spike will become the bad guy in time for the next game. Next game, you play as a monkey. It basically becomes the Planet of the Apes quintilogy.
I was going to say, basically becomes Donkey Kong.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Spectre's back, voiced by Andrew Serkis.
That would be really good. At the same time, terrible. Because you need Pokemon level voice acting for this. You just do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. I hope that's something Sony learned. I guess I should bring up in relation to this because I didn't bring it up last time. Sony actually patented a thing over a year. No, it was about a year ago. Where the trick is to play games designed for older systems. I believe they specifically note in the patent, like PlayStation 1, and through the emulation itself, inject higher fidelity models and textures and things. And they reference the ability to perhaps sell it as a downloadable pack or it be downloaded from a place. So I think this thing is just going to be them doing that. Like they're testing Medieval first, and then Ape Escape's going to be a much fancier version of that. And to be honest, even a remake of Ape Escape 1 would be fantastic. Ape Escape is a really great game. I don't think enough people played the first one because it was late and required a DualShock controller. But that game has an amazing soundtrack and feel, and it is one of the only 3D platformers I think did a good job of competing against Super Mario 64. I feel like it really fires on all cylinders.
Rock?
No, I don't like...
excuse you, Banjo-Kazooie.
No, we're going to talk about Croc because I need to mention that it's a canceled Yoshi game, in case people didn't know.
Did you know?
What?
Yeah, no, actually...
Was that real, or
no,
was that
is real.
Massive extrapolation of what happened?
That is actually real. Argonaut Software was trying to make a 3D Yoshi game, and Nintendo said, this looks awful, no. So Nintendo...
They got the level 5 treatment.
Which is the funniest shit in the world.
Or not level 5, factor 5.
It's the funniest shit in the world because for people who don't know, some of the code in the camera operation of Star Fox 2 is used in Mario 64's code. So it's funny as shit for the company who is partially responsible for that code to then be told, yeah, your 3D platformer looks like shit.
I mean, I've played Croc.
I haven't. I'm not saying Croc is good.
Raw?
Croc is probably fucking terrible.
I mean,
it looks like it is probably.
I mean, it's not Ape Escape or Mario 64. It's probably terrible.
Hey, Bob, you take that back. KZ will have you know that there was a really good 3D platformer that gen.
I'm sorry, Gex is great.
3.
Yeah, Gex is great. I'm
Exactly.
sorry.
Deep cover Gecko.
Exactly.
It's fantastic.
It's a fantastic game.
Gex, who has a spy girlfriend with big titties, who's just real.
Clock says party time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a good line.
Tail time.
So
Gex...
When am I making you stream Gex 3? I know a lot about Gex 3. I'm sorry, but you picked the one fucking game.
Look, I 100%ed that game back in the day.
Oh, that's depressing.
This makes me want to punch myself in the mouth.
Yeah.
Gex 3D is the second Gex game.
Huh.
Something about that just makes my brain melt.
Is that?
It's got a Kingdom Hearts-like energy to it.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. The first Gex was 2D, so, call Gex 3D, number 2, the second game.
I'm just imagining that forced stream now, and it's like hour 12, and Gex says his terrible Austin Powers line for the 400th time.
Super Mario, baby.
God, Gex.
So, Bob, DLC, huh?
Yeah, DLC for Samurai Shodown. They showed off all the stuff you get with the season pass, but the season pass is free for the first 5 days. Hopefully that's still going on when this podcast is out. I doubt it. I think it'll be over.
Got
I think it'll just barely be over.
Yes, but even if you don't have, even if you didn't buy it, you could have just gone to the PlayStation Store and downloaded it because it's just free for everybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was explicitly if you bought it.
I did too.
No, I own the
PlayStation
DLC
Store,
now, including the classic, PS1 model for the one character.
They give you Nakaruru classic model.
Oh, that's cool.
I haven't tried
There's
that.
There's also a classic. What's the main guy?
Haomaru and Genjiro, I think.
Yeah, Haomaru. There's a classic Haomaru too.
But you have to pay for that one. Whereas,
oh, do you?
Yeah.
So we got some DLC characters here.
Yeah. So
we got Rimururu, Basara, Kazuki Kazama, and Wanfu. I don't know Wanfu. Who the fuck?
I believe Wanfu's new. He seems to be a Chinese guy who fights with a giant pillar. So that's kind of cool.
So he's a pillar
no, he's not new.
Oh, no?
He's not new.
Is he from the Neo Geo 64 game?
Is he from Shop Saki Chook?
He is from... Where is he?
Probably 6.
He was in Samurai Shodown 1, I think?
What? Wow.
And 2? Appearances, Samurai Shodown 1, Samurai Shodown 2, and then he was in 6, and then he was in this.
Weird. Okay.
Look this up.
Basra is going to be really cool because I've seen what they do as a ghost character by seeing the boss. So seeing Basra's always got his ghost I think it's like his dead wife or something that's haunting him.
Basara used to have this thing where you could beat him in one hit, if I remember right, so I wonder if he'll still have that.
And then Kazuki Kazama is actually the guy that a lot of the moves for a certain Kenshin main villain were stole from.
What?
Yeah.
Nah.
That's self-admitted by the author.
Oh.
Yes.
You mean the guy who just made Venom but a ninja and put him in Rurouni Kenshin? Oh.
No, he made Spawn, but a ninja.
Oh, Spawn but a ninja. I always thought it was Venom. And then another character was just Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. I like those characters.
I don't remember Gambit. I mean, I don't doubt it. There's a lot of self-admitted stolen stuff. Inspired. There we go.
I heard some other fighters out there, some other very respected fighters out there are getting additional characters. KZ, what can you tell me about that news?
Ladies and gentlemen, Dissidia NT is adding Tifa from Final Fantasy VII to the roster.
If we had not played this very recently, I would have been excited.
Just put her in Dead or Alive 6.
I'm sorry.
Just stop.
Oh, no.
That would actually be pretty
put her
awesome.
in Tekken.
Put them in both.
Put her in Tekken.
Put her in both.
Look, Dead or Alive 6 is made by the same people. There's no excuse.
But yes, it's being added to the arcade version of the game as well as the console version. Both her normal look, which looks like they just transitioned the classic design with like no adjustments, and the Advent Children one. They show her doing her moves, and yeah, that's it.
Next, please, Square Enix, for PS5 and Xbox 2 or whatever the fuck, just take the assets of this game and make a real Dissidia game.
Yeah, no, I would be there day one. That's all you guys have to do.
They're like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna charge you $40. This is like Dissidia Flux Cohesion, and it's just this game, but it's a 1v1 fighter with all the mechanics back that you wanted.
Yeah,
And a story.
I'd pay $60 for that.
The funny thing is, I think with the solid state drives of those next consoles, they actually may be more open to that idea, because part of the reason that they only have, like, I feel like the game's limited in certain ways. They lock you down in certain ways because they don't want to have a bunch of different things loaded up. But it's, I don't know. Like, for example, getting into a match in Dissidia NT is like a minute of setup, if not more.
Yeah. There's like 3 or 4 loads that you must endure.
And it's chunky.
To get to that.
I feel like if it goes faster, maybe they'll be a bit less scared to make it shorter matches, because those matches are inordinately huge.
I think if they make a Dissidia that isn't focused on doing arcade shit, then it will be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Take out the esports.
If they make a new Dissidia that isn't pointlessly based on esports, a field they were never going to make headway in, and I don't understand what they were thinking.
It's okay. The next Dissidia is a battle royale game.
Don't get me excited.
You know what? That'd be better.
Dude, you pick up the Buster Sword in this barn.
Yeah.
I'm getting excited.
Oh, you found this materia in a toilet.
Do you all get the drop in like a Kingdom Hearts drop?
You got to do your dream drop.
Oh man, Kingdom Hearts Battle Royale, and it's just that dive sequence.
Then you customize your stupid Union Cross character.
They add vehicles, and it's just Meow Wow. It's just Fortnite.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what happens is if you walk through the storm, like if you leave the safe region, you just hear the Candy Goggles theme. It just starts blaring.
The storm is just the Heartless Tornado.
Yes.
Man,
this is way better than Dissidia NT, what we're describing here.
This is so good, it can no longer be a pitch on an eventual Kingdom Hearts armchair devs.
Yeah. I feel like...
Oh, man, if one of us every time brought a Battle Royale game to that show, that'd be hilarious.
Thinking about it, someone's bit where, how can I make this a Battle Royale?
So,
missed opportunity with Castlevania. If I came up with that, you would have died between that and Pipe Dream.
Phil, I hear we have some other really great announcements from Square Enix. Would you like to talk about them?
So, in the news of what the fuck are you doing? Square Enix has announced that they're doing a live-action Final Fantasy XIV show with Netflix, and this is explicitly an adaptation of the game. It isn't like the other Netflix show that was aired on Japanese TV, but Netflix got it. Daddy of Light.
I'm gonna watch this. I am pumped.
I'm not convinced this will exist. I think it's gonna get stuck in production hell. But even the idea of it is so fucking stupid. You can't do every single thing in this show would require an effect or heavy costuming, which you aren't going to put up the money for.
I know, that's why I'm so excited for it.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, what's up?
As someone who also isn't going to play Final Fantasy XIV ever, this sounds all right.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, an adaptation of that, seeing them try to do this on a shoestring budget, that sounds hilarious.
Yes, I will watch this.
It's going to be so it won't even be bad in a fun way, because Netflix shows never are.
I feel like with this idea, there's no way that it's not bad in a fun way.
Dan, you should play Final Fantasy XIV.
No, I shouldn't.
Yeah.
No.
You and Toast should play. It'll be great.
Double no.
There's only humans, and the Garlean Empire is just dudes with spears, because we don't have money for a Magitech thing. I think we're made of money. We had to make the Witcher guys wear trash bags.
You know, you say all these jokes, but have you seen Japanese live-action television? I know Netflix has more money and more production know-how than that.
This will look worse than the, what's that show's name? The Hero Yoshihiko. This show will look worse than that.
Oh, good.
Okay, that.
Let me use that thing
what is
that I don't know of as a reference.
That's the parody series of the live-action comedy series that's parodying Dragon Quest, and has stuff with the bandit who boasts about his poison knife and then licks it and then just realizes what he did and falls down dead.
This looks great. I don't know what the problem is.
No, this does look good. I'm saying this will look better than the Final Fantasy XIV show.
I mean, this is super cheap. This is like SNL looking at this.
I'm looking over at that. And,
you know what? If they're like the Lalafels, who are the tiny little like gnome-esque race, if they're just puppets, sold. But I just think it'll be like we don't have them.
Yeah.
I think it'll be we don't have them instead of we used Muppets.
I'm looking over at that, Bob, and the number one question I'm asking is, well, you know, the United States of America, one could say our number one export is culture and war. When are we going to export our post-production technique?
Never.
Okay.
But I mean, we're getting Dark Crystal from Netflix. That's just all puppets.
Yeah. Dark Crystal actually shows that they care immensely about having production values that are in a way where people won't get upset. So I'm interested to see the first trailer on this.
And Switch again.
Can't wait till we're doing cursed content about it.
You know, the idea of a live action 14 where they just can't afford it so they don't put in Lalafels means it's better than 14.
Right?
Oh my god.
Because those fucking rat potato
Aren't they like
bastards.
racists, all of them, or something?
Oh, I'm sorry you're so terrible.
They're evil. They're mostly evil.
Sorry you can't stand Chads, KZ.
Just because you're closer to their height doesn't mean you have to side with them.
KZ, what other amazing
related
news?
to Square Enix.
Yes, read it. Thank you.
Okay. Square Enix said that they finished the preparations for the next Dragon Quest title, and they are now hiring. It's going to be a next-gen title that's going to be even more immersive. They did all that stuff. It's 12. They said a lot of flowery language that it's going to be high-tech. It's going to be really immersive. The biggest one yet.
It's good. It's so good. It's big. It's bigger than we've ever done. I've never played a big game before.
Apply. You'll love working on this. It's great. You're seeing Square really like...
It's a VR amusement park.
Set things up like that. The Final Fantasy XIV division is making a next-gen game that is probably FF16. We have Dragon Quest 12, like, hiring right now.
Yeah.
Luminous Productions has a new IP in development.
Sure.
They're all ramping up for next gen.
And this will hopefully be out, soon in the terms of game development, because they're just using UE4 now.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
So I could see like 2021 instead of like 2025.
Yeah, I could. I don't know. It still gets a debuff from being Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest 11 was only in development 4 years.
It went surprisingly quickly.
Right. So I was like 4 years from now, 3 years from now. Yeah, that's not too.
I mean, I'm sure that like it's the started development was like pre-production. I'm sure they're like further along.
Yeah, that's what they were.
Start of 11s.
Yeah, they said they finished like the pre-production stuff, and now they're in this phase of getting more people onto the project. Also, they don't have to worry about making a 3DS game as on top of the PS4
Yes.
game. Just make one SKU this time, which was really nuts.
I don't know if that's what they're going to do. I mean, the Switch is pretty popular. They may end up doing...
They can just make a game that can fit on the Switch.
Yeah, they just...
Yeah, that would be a pretty underwhelming looking game on a PS5 and an Xbox 2. But yeah, they could do that.
They scale it down
sets of assets.
But they're going to be similar enough to where it doesn't feel like it's an entirely new game the way the 3DS one was compared to the PS4 one.
Right. I mean, the 3DS one was interesting in that it had the two different styles you could have at once.
Entirely new sequences and dungeons that just weren't in the PS4 version.
Right. I still think the chasm between a Nintendo Switch and a PS5 is completely, like, almost beyond words.
Yes. You're definitely correct. I just think it'll be like, look, you could play this on the PS5 where it looks fantastic, or you play it on the Switch where you're like, well, on a portable screen.
Fancy.
And we ripped out all the big open areas between towns and replaced them with hallways.
But that's okay because that wasn't content. No one can complain. It just
it just has a Final Fantasy 12 syndrome where it's like,
Final
it's
Fantasy
the big
12,
section.
the lowest rated Final Fantasy game on my list of ones I've played.
Okay, I thought you were going to say critically, and I was like, wait, really? What? Wait, what?
No.
Of course not.
Here's the thing. As much as I've seen of 12, and I've seen a decent chunk of 12, I like 13 immensely more and don't understand why it was so fucking hated when it came out. 12 is awful.
As the Final Fantasy series continues, the people and the discourse around it become more and more insane.
I mean, maybe it wouldn't have if, 1, they finished 15, 2, 14 weren't an MMO again and fleeing away from putting another normal installment in that was amazing to people. And 3, there weren't 3 Final Fantasy 13s.
Hey, I heard 2 is pretty alright.
I mean, I hear 13.3's alright. It's also not even really a Final Fantasy. Just at the last second, they're like, fuck it, shove lightning in it, ship it.
Had that dog that they couldn't model for some reason.
They need to remaster that game, but do nothing to that dog.
I can't believe that dog escaped its original game on the Sega 32X.
Yeah. No, Dan, it was made on the Saturn. It had quads instead of polygons. That's why it looks like that now.
I honestly think we're never going to see those games come back.
Oh,
I think we will because, people still like those.
They added 13 on the 360
they added them
back
compat. Compat, yeah.
Yeah, which is great because they even patched in high-res movies, right? Like high-quality movies, and that's amazing because that's the number one reason you wouldn't want the 360 version because it's compressed to all hell.
They're like, hey, we have the better assets, so this ends up looking a lot better. All I have is an Xbox One S, so I booted that up, and I'm like, this looks just as not great as it did before. The Square can't handle hair.
I should get more than like 5 hours into Final Fantasy 13 sometime, but I don't want to do that for a game that repelled me in 5 hours.
Wow, even I made it further than that. Jesus, I didn't expect you played less than me.
I almost quit earlier. Like that moment, like an hour and a half in, where the big crystal falls into the water and then the water turns to crystal, my brain almost just went, fuck you.
What, you don't watch anime?
I had to force. It was just so fucking stupid and stereotypical.
I have no idea what your problem is. You like anime RPGs, like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, I like good anime RPGs that don't do things where the crystal falls into the crystal and then people turn to crystal.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
Crystals are cool, and they look really fancy in that game because that game costs $300 million.
See, a dude with a crystal arm because he has a disease that's slowly turning him into crystal?
Yeah.
That's cool. A crystal whirlwind of crystals is dumb.
I don't know. I bet the guy with the crystal arm would turn people into crystals.
That's more cool than we gave you the mark of the Falsier. If you finish your mission, you turn to crystal. If you don't finish your mission, you turn into a zombie.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
you got that. That is correct.
You nailed it.
Basically, my point is, the Sharingan is cool. That dude with 100 Sharingan on his arm is stupid.
No, that's wrong.
No, he is hilarious. Donzo is hilarious with his
Hilarious
tree arm.
isn't cool.
Yeah, it is. There are cool abilities tied to his tree arm with eyeballs in it.
I love Schlock too, but there's a difference.
This isn't Weeaboots, and yet we're debating Chuni like nonstop in this podcast. I don't know how the fuck. Hey KZ, I heard there was an extended cut of the Jedi Fallen Order demo. Tell me about it.
All right, something unrelated to Phil saying things are schlock when he doesn't like it. Jedi Fallen Order had an extended cut video showing the demo from E3. This was the behind closed doors version, and
Does anyone have
showed off.
Does anyone have
like
an arm filled with eyes of Jedis that may or may not give him extra power?
Dude, don't spoil episode 9.
God damn it, Bob. God damn it.
They showed an extended cut of this demo, which there's a lot at the beginning that wasn't in what we saw. So they showed you infiltrating the big Imperial walker while it's like halfway submerged in the water. You like go inside, take control of it, and then start fighting with it, which was pretty neat. I thought the interactions with the characters were pretty good. Forrest Whitaker was there a little bit more. They showed you going into your main ship, and it pulled up like your space map, the very content-filled world map, where you like get to select the planets you want to go to, and it definitely looks more like exploration-based or Metroidvania, as I heard they've described it. Actually, they described it more like a mix of like Metroid in a way, because you can go back with different force abilities and go to different areas, and that game still looks really good. I don't know why they didn't just show this during EA Play, because it made it look a lot more feature rich.
Those sound more exciting.
Because EA literally has no idea what is exciting about their games. They don't even know what games are.
I got excited just seeing a world map in that, because they just showed the hologram of different planets you get to go to, and
did they show the
combat
skill tree?
looks good.
They showed the skill tree.
They did not show the skill tree.
You need to take your past skills and throw them away. Put all of your points into summon skeleton.
I hear Kylo Ren every week. And
Dude,
I'm always proud.
I checked your Smash Supercut. You just fucking has Kylo Ren jokes all over it. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I'm like, all right, might as well. Here's all the footage I have. There's 2 Kylo Ren segments. Both of them, we comment about how ugly he is.
You do.
I think people were commenting on the me, but
Yeah, the me, not the, as Phil said, the 7-foot-tall man built like a fridge.
okay. One, he's right. Ben Swallow is rather fridge shaped.
Hey, I said it. I would love to be as built as Adam Driver. He's enormous.
I mean, it would be nice.
It's weird. Black really is slimming, because you look at him as Kylo Ren and you're like, that's a normal-sized human being. And then you see like a picture of him wearing like a normal t-shirt walking around, and it's like, holy shit.
Look, that would be nice.
Bursting out of that.
You know, someone parks in your spot, you could just move their car, you know? That'd be convenient, but we got no transition, so hey, KZ, tell me about this new Persona 5 art
Is that
trailer.
how that opens? Or are you just going, we got no transition?
None at all, whatsoever. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Atlas has been putting out little trailers for Persona 5 The Royal every couple of weeks, I guess. And this new one was a Ryuji character trailer showing off some new dialogue stuff. His new persona, which it looks like all the personas in this are your first and second one fused together. And this
His
one,
new persona, Uncle Death from Let It Die.
Yeah, it's a skeleton in a hoodie using
with headphones and sunglasses.
Yeah, using a luxury like yacht as a skateboard.
Okay.
And it looks pretty good, and it's supposed to be William Kidd, I believe.
Yeah, his original persona is William Kidd, so I think they're all just based on William Kidd.
Yeah, and they showed one of the new team attacks that's going to be in the game, which is Yusuke serving Ryuji up a dish in a restaurant.
A beef bowl.
It
looks exactly like a bar, but it's Fox's beef bowls on the sign outside.
Yeah, and then as he's serving it to him on the counter, the door opens and it's just an enemy from the game, and then they bust out Glocks and start shooting him, and you're like, this is a 35-second special attack?
Yeah, that's very confusing. Like, wait, so they just transfer them to the beef bowl dimension and then shoot them?
I am very excited.
It's like when you play 50 Cent Blood on the Sand and you do a melee finisher and he teleports them to the 50 dimension, which is an empty void with under a blurry filter, and he knifes them to death.
Okay, yeah, it's where the cops don't see.
Mm-hmm.
They did show a team attack back when they were first revealing Royal, where I think it was like Haru using a rocket launcher while with Morgana in the cat bus form. So it looks like they're just making these lavish cutscenes just for special attacks, which I'm like,
there's going to be a bunch, because I think there's supposed to be like one for each pairing.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, they really are flexing on the original with like this new updated release.
Trying to justify that $60.
Yeah, you know,
you gotta...
this is the one time where I'm like, yeah, you really are justifying it this time, because it's like 3 more months of content, different dungeon, new party member, all that stuff. Usually they just go, all right, it's fucking an extra event in like 2 weeks.
Here's a new character in 2 weeks, and this is like, they either significantly rewrote it or there's just a second plot after the first one.
So yeah, I'm really excited for P5R. Looks really Dan?
Somebody posted that in my fucking Discord. I was gonna silently post it here, but now I guess I need to post it in the show notes. Thanks, KZ, for laughing.
I know podcasters provide content. They're all cowards.
Yeah, it's Garth Marenghi from Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. Amazing show. Look it up on YouTube. Anyways, they edited the subtitles to say, I know podcasters who provide context, and they're all cowards.
Oh, KZ, remind me of another news thing I need to mention.
Sure.
It's related to Atlas, me shaming them. So, Sega, I think it was Scott Strichard, it might have been somebody else, one of the localizers on Judgment was like, if Judgment does really well, Nagoshi might have the next game be worldwide simultaneous release. To which I respond, are we going to be in a world where Yakuza is worldwide simultaneous release and the new Persona game is still like, sorry guys, it's going to be 8 months?
Yes.
Will we enter that dimension?
Now, I was, the last time I ever went into they should localize this shit faster discourse was when Persona 5 was coming out. And I said, look at all the other JRPGs like, FF15, World of Final Fantasy. They come out day and date. And people said, no, that's not fair. Persona 5 is in AAA. You can't expect them to get it done fast.
Yeah, and every Tales of game is AAA.
We're getting one of those. We're finally getting one of those.
That 3DS Fire Emblem in 2017, the year the Switch came out, that was day and date. But the KZ, it has changed now to they're trying, but it's not that easy to change your pipeline. Even though Nintendo in 1 year went from Fire Emblem Fates taking like a year and a half to day and date.
Yeah, but that caused sacrifices. Because of that, the national dex is gone.
You're trying to start
Nintendo has a weird pipeline. You never. It's like pipe dreams.
You trying to start a fucking war, or?
I so want to know what
the waifu national.
It has to just be It has to just be like, Atlas, can we localize your stuff sooner? Fuck off, Gaijin.
You touch it when we're done, and I'm waiting for the moment where Sega comes out with the ruler and just hits them.
you're gonna let us localize your fucking game sooner, and you're gonna use Unreal 4, or I'm gonna kill you. We'll send you to the flower field with Kazuko, where he's been trapped for 15 years. Shin Megami Tensei hasn't had good art in that long.
Oh.
All right, you said Japanese words there, Phil. Tell me about Sakura Wars.
Good transition.
So,
You did it.
they gave some more details on it. It's not like anything super big.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly just little stuff.
And now I think the main character's Bankai, right?
The most insane mechanic I have ever heard of.
Yeah.
When giving dialogue responses, you can use the sticks to adjust the nuance and tone.
Huh. That actually makes me think of Zone of the Enders 2.
Right?
Where you can go the whole game without realizing you can choose.
I think they already said it doesn't actually do anything.
Oh, well then it's nothing like Zone of the Enders 2. That's a deep and important mechanic in that.
So crazy to me.
Story-wise.
Danganronpa had the dumbest feature that was almost like that, where you had a react feature in Danganronpa V3.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Where you do the right stick and you can go yeah or oh no or whatever. It does
and it
nothing.
Did nothing.
It does nothing. Yes.
It doesn't even push dialogue. It's just there.
Smash the stick to Nanigate.
I don't know why.
But this seems like I wonder what's this gonna do, because your character has to be voiced, or else obviously this wouldn't exist. So are they just going to like warp the actor's read, or are they going to have him do like 9 reads of every response?
It's gonna be like those really shitty Twitter memes where it's a video and somebody fucking auto-tuned it to have the person screaming sing notes.
I feel like there'll be enough generic things for your character to say, just to have him say like 30 versions of
But you're gonna procedurally shift between them, so that way you start and then you end up at so it's gonna be like That seems bizarre.
So speaking of games being localized faster than Atlas games and humiliating them, Atelier Ryza, Ever Darkness, and The Secret Hideout is releasing in Japan on September 26th and in America on October 29th. So 1 month.
But that's Koei Tecmo. They're huge.
They're so...
This series that they didn't dub for years.
AAA, I think of Atelier.
Triple Atelier, right.
Yeah, that was my favorite one. By the way, I'm renaming this podcast to the Beef Bowl Dimension.
And Persona 4 was the meat dimension, so it's close enough.
Yeah.
I mean, you only have to change one letter in our acronym.
PPT.
All right, we got to get the art assets ready.
They also were like, here's our new lighting engine. We wanted to focus on better lighting and shadows, which says to me, Lulua is the first game that wasn't on the Vita, but we had planned for it to be at the Vita on some point, or we wouldn't have rolled this out. But it looks real good.
Cool.
It's amazing what good lighting effects can do to even a game with pretty cheap assets.
Well, you know, a lot of the visionaries in the industry knew that the way forward wasn't brute forcing polygons and textures, it was in lighting. That's why Ken Kutaragi didn't even want to use polygons with the PS2.
God damn it. Don't fucking talk about Ken Kutaragi.
No, it's fucking true. That man's insane. He didn't want polygons on the PS2.
He's too beautiful for this world.
No, he didn't even want quads. He wanted like what I believe is similar to non-uniformal rational B-splines, which is that shit they were pushing at the launch of the PSP.
Oh God, I shouldn't ask.
Yeah, no, dude, we're talking about like you're like, so what can form a 3D shape that isn't a polygon? And my mouth opens and letters and fucking Arabic script just flies out.
They were called NURBs, right?
Yeah, non-uniformal rational B-splines or NURBs. They were pushing that at the launch of the PSP. They're like, it's an amazing feature. Apparently with the PS2, Ken Kutaragi didn't even want to use polygons.
Why does everything that Sony talks about before they release a platform sound so fake?
You know, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. They've done some insane shit, but I till the end of time, I'm going to point out they never said the PS2 would have Toy Story graphics. That was the Xbox. They said a lot of crazy shit about the PS2, like it being the Matrix when you connect to the internet.
Okay, so I think I've come to a realization with Dan. where whenever me and Phil are just standing there and he's just, doing the tech shit, is the equivalent of in One Punch Man when the explosions are happening and we just go, okay.
Yeah.
That's my reaction to them announcing a yet another bad 3D arena fighter for One Punch Man.
Oh man, I bet they'll be just as good as the Kill la Kill one.
It's coming from Spike Chunsoft.
Oh,
they made Jump Force.
oh.
Casey, you're kidding, right? This is a joke.
Did they? Oh, they did.
Yeah, they did.
That's what I was hearing. Like people going, "This is exciting." Oh fuck, it's an arena brawler. It's okay. It can't be worse than My Heroes 1 Justice. Then someone going, "They made Jump Force."
Yep.
That's sad.
That is like the bottom of the barrel of those games.
Hey, maybe the cutscenes in this game will look better than the current season of that anime.
This is the equivalent of fucking hearing, yeah, they're making a live-action One Punch Man movie. It's made by the Death Note Netflix director.
Yeah, but the cinematography is going to be really good.
No.
This is one of those things where,
Don't make me sick, Dad.
That's how this feels.
Nothing would be better because the existence of this precludes the existence of something good.
There's just this trend that happened where, like, in older gens, you would get a lot of licensed anime games that did something else. Like, they had the Naruto games Ubisoft made, where they were, like, adventure games that then became, like, 2D fighters for, like, the critical fight moments.
And they had some fun mechanics, like you could set your anime flashbacks that when you got knocked to low enough health, you'd have your remembering your Nakama moment with whatever clip you set, and then it would restore X amount of health and super.
The fantastic game Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit had a similar thing where you had dramatic equippable items based on certain variables.
About Burst Limit.
Burst Limit is Kino.
Let's be honest here.
I wore a Burst Limit shirt for years just to upset Xeon. Can we stop bringing it up?
Can you wear the Burst Limit shirt at some point?
I don't know. I think I got rid of it. Either that or Toast just keeps wearing it.
Why would you get rid of a shirt from a perfect video game? It's got a really good intro song.
Burst Limit is not a perfect video game, but the intro song's all right. I'll agree with you on that.
Kageyama went ham. It was pretty good. But my point was that we used to have an era where anime video games were more than, all right, this is gonna be like the Dragon Ball Tenkaichi, where it's just a big 3D brawler. Like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is like one of the few times we're getting, a different thing where you're going on an adventure and it's an RPG.
Throughout the history of anime games, there have been far more terrible ones than anything worthwhile.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like this is any change to the trend.
Not at all.
I'd rather have something that's terrible in a way that's different from everything.
They usually weren't even
in the exact same way.
They're all bad in the same way.
Check this out. Here's our 3 flavors, okay? Shitty Smash Bros. Oh man, I'm gonna get so much shit. Whatever, I mean it this time. Shitty Smash Bros, shitty Budokai, and shitty Tenkaichi. You're one of those 3 flavors, or you're an actually good game like the fucking Naruto things were at one point in time. There is nothing else.
No, there was also stuff like the really bad One Piece platformer Round the Land.
They're still making bad One Piece like adventure games.
Right. I'm just saying
they put out a One Piece game like 3 months ago.
Yeah, I should probably try that. It's probably pretty similar to Kakarot.
World Seeker.
No.
World Seeker.
No, Kakarot's being made by the guys at CyberConnect.
Okay, I watched footage of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot because I only saw that trailer and like a few gifs of traversal. That game actually, I'm getting really into that.
Yeah, no, it looks good.
It looks good.
Part of it is you fight Raditz, and then when the fight starts getting hyped, they just play Chala Head Chala.
I'm really glad
good.
at no point in time did I go out there like I saw so many people do and shit on that fucking game. Because when it got shown at E3, it was like, hey, I'm exactly what you want. I'm cool as shit. And I'm like, yeah, good. Meanwhile, I had to watch so many people who shit on the thing.
Before that, when they first announced it like months ago, they said CyberConnect 2 is making a Dragon Ball Z game. And I like those Storm games and a Dragon Ball Z story presented like they did some of that Storm shit sounds incredible.
Yeah, no, it's not hard to imagine this going well.
I do hope that they put a gun to Toei's head so that I can enjoy the really cool moment of them fighting Raditz and the theme song playing without it immediately telling me, "You've entered a blocked scene. They're playing a song we own."
Turn off notifications.
Can you actually turn that off?
I think, yeah.
If you turn off notifications,
you can turn off like the
entirely,
notification.
you would. But then you wouldn't realize when people invite you to shit.
Right.
Like, Tekken 7.
Which we just went over.
Yeah, it was, which was kind of a mess. But hearing that the soundtrack just kind of sounds like we're bringing in people to make it sound like the old anime, I'm like, this is good. This is like when we had
We're gonna go retro.
the Legacy
We're
of
bringing
Goku
in
games.
thieves.
Yeah, it's like when the Legacy of Goku games replicated the Bruce Falconer score pretty well on the Game Boy Advance. But yeah, that is an anime game that actually looks like it has ambition behind it instead of, I don't know.
Jump Force.
No, this is gonna be good. The real Jump Force, in fact, is this One Punch Man coming out this year? Next year? When's it coming out, Phil?
Who cares? It's gonna sell like 3 copies.
Bob, you should buy it and tell us how it is.
No, I'm buying the Kill la Kill game. I don't need this.
The Kill la Kill one hurts the most because they're like, here's a unique plot and unique designs for thing, and I'm like, wow, I wish would be in something real.
This is real.
I'll play it. I'll give it a chance. They even got the voice actors back for it. I'm excited.
Some of the mechanics in that Kill la Kill game at least look okay and different-ish.
This isn't even really a news thing, but I want to yell at Phil Harrison because he upset me.
True, he is.
Unbelievably so.
Who's Phil Harrison again? Is he Google?
Yeah, he's Google Man.
Okay, he's the evil Google guy. Okay.
Yeah, now, but he used to be Sony.
So they elaborated on Stadia pricing, and as we expected, nothing is cheaper on Stadia. But what upset me was Phil Harrison said dismissively, "Why would it be cheaper?" I'm like, because you don't fucking own anything, you reptile.
Yeah.
Well, you pay that convenience tax.
You're supposed to pretend you're not fucking me. I understand that all corporations are on some level, but as a society, we got the arrangement where you pretend you're not.
I'm starting to think the Stadia thing isn't going to work out.
You should think that because most endeavors from these companies don't. Like, they just fucking want to get into a sector because they know it's profitable. They don't have any compelling ideas for it. Like, literally every step of the Stadia's existence is them trying to figure out how it will work in someone's house and making people believe it will.
I mean, yeah, but now it especially looks even worse than before. I mean, it already looked bad when they're like, here's our new streaming platform. We're buffering on our announcement.
And the scary...
It barely works when it's up our ass and we have the most powerful internet in the world supporting it. But just the fucking gall. Why would it cost more? Fuck you.
Phil Harrison's just movie suit in real life.
That's how it sounds. Like, why would it cost any less? Stadia provides fantastic value.
Does it?
No. It's just we're hitting this fucking hell dimension.
Yeah.
Where they aren't even pretending they're not taking advantage of you.
But here's the thing.
I'm going to get Orion instead.
Is it? Nope. Still don't get... No, don't get it.
They created FPSs.
Oh, Orion. Okay, I thought you said A. Ryan. I forgot about Orion. Yeah, that product's never going to materialize.
Yeah, that sounds pretty safe.
Speaking of id, Netflix got George Franco and the other guy, the other dude, Weed Lamau guy. They're going to make a TV show based on the Masters of Doom book.
Let me phrase this another way. The people who made the disaster piece, the Room,
disaster artist,
the Room movie.
Oh,
they're making,
which is also based on a book.
Yeah, they're making.
And apparently, isn't a good adaptation of that book, from what people told me.
No, it is not.
So they got some bad directors that were cheap to make what?
They're making a thing based on the book Masters of Doom.
About the development of Doom and its software. It includes some great stories. I haven't read all of it yet, but I've read excerpts. And there's one that's like, everybody there was just insane and shit got smashed constantly. And at one point, John Carmack, I think, locked himself in his office. So Romero went and got his $5,000 custom battle axe he had made and axed the door open while people yelled, "Battle axe! Battle axe!"
Can you not make id sound like the coolest place on earth?
Well, it was. 1, 2.
It was back then.
This book is really good. There's just
it's still cool enough now. They're making Doom. I like Doom.
There's just one problem. The audiobook version of that book. Mr. Field, do you know why?
No.
It's narrated by Will Wheaton.
Oh!
Holy shit. Doesn't it feel good to deal soul damage on a podcast, Dan?
Yes, it's great to roll that 20, my friend. Yeah, I was very close to buying the audiobook, and then I saw it was Will Wheaton, and I was like, I mean, I won't just be thinking, shut up, Wesley, the whole time, will I? And then I listened to an excerpt, and I was like, oh, God! But it's fine. That book's pretty interesting. Pretty good book.
It's like he sneaks up on you to ruin your life.
That's all for news.
That
Unless
book,
somebody has a secret thing.
that book, Console Wars, that movie based on it never came out, did it? I wonder if it's still in production.
That book's
or
kind of mid anyway. It's like way more, what's the dramatic? How the fuck do you say that word?
dramatized.
It's a lot more, dramatized than I would probably like.
Yeah.
Because it's like, the hero, Tom Kalinske, proudly walked into Sega's offices, and I'm like, Tom Kalinske did a good job with the Sega Genesis, but you don't have to deify him like that.
I mean, we like deifying people who make really, really great accomplishments in the face of adversity. Think about this. The first fucking...
Adversity like Sega of Japan firing him for being too good at his job.
Yes. Also, keep in mind that the Genesis was the first console to steal market share from Nintendo in America. It took Japan, the Japanese market, it took all the way until the Saturn for Sega consoles to do capital W well. That is how much adversity he fucking faced, because the US market was like an insane monopoly for Nintendo. Japan was sucking shit. They don't know how to design a fucking console, and the Saturn proves it. Tom tried to fucking talk them, one, into doing a partnership with Sony so that way the PlayStation wouldn't have existed, and they could have let Sony eat a lot of the fucking hardware cost on the Saturn, or what would have been the Saturn. Japan said no. Hayao Nakayama said no, we don't see the value in that. So then Sony went off and made the fucking PlayStation. He also tried to talk them into using the tech that eventually went into the N64. But they said, no, we signed a deal years ago with this company that makes this really great graphics processor. And it was dog shit because it uses quads. Like fucking...
Look at these quads.
They're like, looking at his 4 sides. That's one side more than Sony.
I think the ultimate Sega story is just the one you told before, where they're like, no, Peter Moore, you're lying. People don't think we're out of touch and uncool.
Yeah, no, that's how insane Sega Japan is, and they're disgusting, and they ruined something they had that was so great and so beyond their ability to produce themselves. They got handed the fucking American market by an incredibly talented team on a silver fucking platter, and every step of the goddamn way they fucking ruined it for them. It is insane when you think about it. It is fucking insane.
We shouldn't release this other platform thing after we just no, do it.
They're like, we really believe... They sprung the Saturn on them twice, basically. They informed them of the Saturn's Japanese launch, insanely close to launch, and then they let them make the 32X in the middle of making the Saturn.
You just release it all really fast, so it'll be okay.
And then they forced...
Surprise! 3 months. Yeah. 3 months earlier than they said, so every fucking retailer in America got pissed at Sega.
Yeah, Tom Kalinske spent his entire fucking career making relationships, proper relations with every fucking toy distributor and electronics distributor in the United States. Hayao Nakayama put a fucking gun to his head, basically, and said, you're announcing this at E3, you're announcing that it's already shipped and available at select retailers, or you're fired. They are giant fuck-ups. So, yeah, I think that's, calling him a hero, I could totally understand. I wouldn't call him that. I'd call him a fucking Chad, but I wouldn't call him a hero. Sega's fucking stupid. Anyway, I hope that movie gets made.
So I was trying to look up a couple of quickie things that we might have missed this week. I found a couple of things.
Okay.
One that's small. Shigesato Itoi is releasing a book about Iwata.
Oh.
And it's about Satoru Iwata and Miyamoto's collaborating on it as well.
Oh.
Thought that was neat.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Shigesato is the creator of Mother series, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So Earthbound. I'm really interested.
Looks like it's
in
also going to have a collection of stuff related to the Iwata Ask columns that he did with developers and stuff, which is those were good, where Iwata would interview the people working on a specific game. I remember he did one with Nomura back when Dream Drop Distance was coming out. I remember that one was pretty good. The other thing was, all right, I see a headline and it seems like something Phil would yell about. So
Okay.
The headline from what I see, crunch is not sustainable, but Blizzard wouldn't be Blizzard without it, Blizzard founder said.
I didn't read the whole article.
You're a moron.
I didn't read the whole article. I'm sure in the article it makes perfect sense.
Blizzard would not be where it currently is without periods of overwork or crunch, the company's now departed co-founder Mike Morheim told Eurogamer at GameLab this week. He does feel this way of working is not sustainable, but I do like that he said, well, it wouldn't be here without it, though.
Look, if I just said it was good, people would yell, so let me say it's not good, but it did good things, so it's impossible to say whether or not... It's literally that fucking drill tweet about drunk driving. Drunk driving's bad, but it helped people get where they're going faster, so it's impossible to say if it's good or not.
Good. That's it. That's all I had.
Here, let me end the news segment on a joke. Project Steam.
What are you talking about?
Codename Steam, I'm sorry. Codename Steam.
Isn't that the turn-based strategy game?
There was a knockoff.
Yes, that has Will Wheaton voicing Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
I spent that whole time trying to figure out what was up with Abraham Lincoln's voice. I had no idea it was Will Wheaton. That's hilarious. What a mistake.
I'm glad he's getting more work.
No.
I don't think he's gotten any work in a while ever since
I know.
Twitter,
the joke that game came out like 7 years ago.
Did it? It was a 3DS game. It must have been sooner than that.
It was about 6 years ago.
Yeah, it was a very long time ago,
4.
guys.
It was 2015.
Okay. Yeah, it was only 4.
Okay.
That's all.
Felt like it.
So, hey, Bob, what do we have coming out in the next week?
Well, we're going to kill ourselves while this goes up.
Okay, cool, great. Mr. Field, what do you have coming out in the next week?
I'm going to be dead.
Oh, fucking awesome, man. Hey, KZ, what you got coming out in the next week?
I've trained myself through these Kingdom Hearts streams and every other stream we do, so this won't kill me. But I'm continuing to put out regular videos, making one of my LPs, Vesperia, a daily series, and I decided to do that, and then 2 hours later, after getting that set to go, you're like, hey, so that Final Fantasy VII stream is on Sunday, and I went, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah, no, this was really beautiful because it was like in the last 5 days, KZ's like, you're doing that thing. You mind if I show up? I'm like, no. And then 3 days later, I'm like, that's Sunday, and he's like, oh fuck.
I mean, I just need to do a couple of things on Saturday, and then I'm good. And then I can corpse for at least 3 days.
Saturday, I'm going to be in the sensory deprivation chamber all day. That's right. I'm going to be watching a DC film.
Does that mean you're going to be asleep?
No, I'm going to be watching a DC film. When you just need to not think or move.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
But yeah, no, we're doing that Final Fantasy VII stream, and I plan absolutely nothing else with my life. July is not about planning big events. That will be the first and last of July, I hope. Anyways, that's all.
Whatever, it's all Phil's fault.
Sure,
oh,
why not?
It is actually directly my fault. There's one last minute news story. Doug
no.
Walker
What?
got laser eye surgery, so he is no longer that guy with the glasses.
He is slowly transitioning into that Photoshop of him being bald and looking like a
And having no
goblin.
eyebrow hair or anything.
Looking like a thumb.
He's going
Yes.
to. He's gonna still wear the glasses, guys. Let's not pretend.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to update the me feel.
No, he has his hat on. Oh, that's true. I have to take the glasses off. Damn.
Damn.
Watch him still wear them. Watch him wear
yeah.
dress glasses.
It's
for
his
that
bit.
fucking show.
Yeah, he has to.
I
If he
mean,
doesn't, we should throw rocks. And if he
Depending on-
does, maybe we should still throw rocks. I don't know.
depending on the kind of LASIK that he needed, it's a chance he still needs glasses for some things. It's complicated.
It's complicated. But don't worry about it.
I don't want to worry about it.
Please attend our funeral.
Yeah, please attend our funeral and send flowers to the Taco Bell in Blue Water Bay. Thank you.
And the Waffle House.
It'll be fine.
No, the Waffle House
fine.
gets no flowers. They just get contempt from weebs with good taste.
They get a DVD copy of Scried.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. This show, like our other podcasts, is only possible with the generous time our co-hosts have given to us and the equipment we've bought to make it higher quality and easier to produce. Please consider supporting our podcast series on our GigaBoots podcast Patreon and look forward to more gamer premonitions and Big Think Dimension in the future.